It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. And now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, it's showtime. What's happening, everybody? Everybody! The Geno Jones Show. So I come to you live. Normal start time is Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. We're tonight in the Bay Area in San Francisco. Let's go! Let's go, Lakers! Hey, get greedy. You won game one in San Francisco. Take game two. Why not? Go for it. Come on, man. Don't mess around. AD, Anthony Davis, AD. Play like you from the south side of Chicago. Play like you from the Chi, boy. Ball out. I'm proud of you, man. Let them know. Show them how we get down, man. Don't take no ish. We don't take no shit off nobody. On a basketball court, we produced Isaiah Thomas and Dwayne Wade. And a lot of other stars. But, two of the greatest of all time, Isaiah Thomas and Dwayne Wade. I digress. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. You and everybody you know, everybody that you like, that you love, folks that you just like, you go like, we all right. Folks you can't stand, folks you hate, strangers, aliens from outer space, Star Wars fans, because this is what is this? May the 4. It's like the Star Wars Day, Star Wars fans, I guess. Is this when the first movie came out? But anyway, subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. Subscribe and share. Screen grab some of this show, some of my episodes. Screen grab 60 seconds, 60 minutes, I don't care. Screen grab it, put it up on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, Snapchat. Do it all. Let me get right into the show today, okay? Thanks for watching, everybody. Here we go. You know how you feel like something on your lip? So I love about live TV. Okay, let's see here. Let me start off with the good news. Happy birthday today to my fellow Taurians on May 4th. Mother Jackson, Katherine Jackson. Of course, the matriarch of the Jackson family, from Michael and Janet and Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, Randy, Rebe, LaToya. Mother Jackson is 93 today. She's an incredible woman. She reminds me a lot of my grandmother. Actually, because, if Mom was living, she'd be close to 100. She was still here. Incredible woman, incredible spirit, incredible strength. Mother Katherine Jackson, we love you, and we lift you up in prayer, and may God continue to bless and have favor on you. You are a treasure. You are a national treasure, Mother Katherine Jackson. And you had some very talented babies. Yeah, you did. And, Janet and Rebe, it was easy on the eyes. Yeah, even LaToya, and then I think she kind of went a little too far with, the plastic surgery. I digress. Speaking of the Jacksons, one of Katherine's, as a matter of fact, I think her oldest son is Jackie. Well, I know he's the oldest son. Now, I don't know who's the oldest between he and Rebe, because I have a feeling, I think that Rebe might be the oldest of the whole group. But I know Jackie's the oldest boy. Jackie Jackson is 72 today. Another fellow Taurian. Happy birthday, Jackie Jackson. R&B singer Jidenna. Some folks say Jidenna. Some say Jidenna. Repping the ATL. Jidenna is 38 today. Happy birthday, my brother, to you. Another fellow Taurian. And all you Steelers fans, Debo, Super Bowl champion. James Harrison is 45 today. And happy heavenly birthday to two R&B legends. One from the South Side, Chicago, from Chicago. He was born in, I think, Greenville, Mississippi, Greenwood, somewhere in Mississippi. But his family moved to Chicago, born and raised. He died in Chicago. A legendary like R&B blues singer, especially back in the like late 60s, early the 70s. So when he had his run, Tyrone Davis with the all-time classic Baby Maker. Are you in the mood? Da, 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 da. Man, that's one of the sexiest songs. Man, that In the Mood is the joint. But he had a string of number one hits. He had The Turning Point. Let's see, what did Tyrone have? Change My Mind. Can I Change My Mind? That's one thing. Turn Back the Hands of Time. So those are like his biggest hits. Can I Change My Mind? Boy, God, man, growing up, I can hear them on the radio. My mother playing them records. Turn Back the Hands of Time. But the joint is Google that. Google the video for in the song In the Mood by Tyrone Davis. Happy heavenly birthday. He was born on this day in 1938, and he died in 2005. And also happy heavenly birthday to an R&B legend as a songwriter, producer, and singer, a duet, one half of Ashford and Simpson. Brother Nick Ashford was born on this day in 1941, so that means he would have been 82 today. So Nick Ashford and Valerie Simpson, they were writers in Motown, and they wrote some of the biggest hits on Motown. Just Google Nick Ashford and Valerie Simpson's songwriting credits. Hits they wrote when they were staff writers, songwriters at Motown Records. Then they went on and had a solo career. Songs like Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing. Because they actually wrote that for somebody else. I want to say Marvin Gaye, right? I'm thinking Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. But they wrote a lot of hits for Motown. And then they had their own hits. They did Solid as a Rock and It Seems to Hang On. Just absolutely love Ashford and Simpson. Happy heavenly birthday to brother Nick Ashford. Would have been, like I said, 82 today. And since we're talking about music, shout out to the estate of Marvin Gaye. They lost a lawsuit against Ed Sheeran, a pop singer, Ed Sheeran, for copyright infringement. So Marvin Gaye's estate said, listen, Ed Sheeran, this song you got, Thinking Out Loud, that sounds an awful damn lot like Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye. So, but actually before I went on, which is why I was a couple minutes late, I wanted to hear for myself. So I listened to a comparison, and it was like mixed together, and they mixed perfectly, like the same like rhythm, the same like beats per minute, the same chord progression. Instruments played basically in the same chords, played the same chords, chord progression and keys. So if I was on the jury, Ed Sheeran, you'd have to cut a check. And then he like threatened the music industry like, well, if I lose this lawsuit, I'm going to retire from music. Holla at you, partner. All right. I wasn't going to miss you. Now, I know you got a lot of fans. And, you know, I love the song you did with my man Wiz Khalifa. But, yo, okay, dude, you know, go on and retire. You can go back home to Ireland. It's all right. It's all good. We ain't mad at you. But I ain't going to miss you. Like I said, you know, there's going to be a lot of folks that miss you. But a lot of folks will be like, who's next? Because I guarantee you the music industry will find the next new Ed Sheeran. I mean, that's just the way it is. But you got lucky and you won the lawsuit. But when I listen to it, I'm like, there's a lot of Let's Get It On. I had a debate in my own house with Demira. She's like, I don't hear it. I'm like, I don't know what you can't hear. Same chord progression, basically same beat pattern. Because like I said, someone put it together like on YouTube. And they mixed perfectly together. It was like a mixer in a club, mixing out of Ed Sheeran's Thinking Out Loud right into Let's Get It On. and they matched up right on beat. You didn't even have to pitch one up or pitch one down. So, Ed Sheeran, you got lucky. I think your celebrity helped you out, partner. But just be glad I wasn't on the jury, because you'd have had to cut a check and I guess retire. And so be it. All right, I didn't get a chance to talk about something yesterday. Shout out to everybody watching. My man Groove Master Dre. What's up, Dre? You know, I think you know what, Dre? I'm going to have you come on. I'm producing my show live in real time on camera live. So Groove Master Dre is one of my contributors to the Geno Jones Show. He's a producer, DJ, producer, extraordinaire, podcaster. So Dre, you know what? I want you to listen. You can find it on YouTube. I want you to listen to like the comparison with Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On and Ed Sheeran's Thinking Out Loud. And I want to get your take as a producer and a DJ. But I'm telling you, you could mix the two together. Maybe you can even do it live on camera tomorrow, because they mixed together perfect. I was like, and they sound, like I said, the chord progression and just the beats per minute, same beat pattern. I'm like, whoa, all right. Now it wasn't quite as egregious as what Pharrell and my man Robin Thicke did with Marvin Gaye's song. That was straight plagiarism. That was just like gangster. They just strong armed. They might as well took a gun and just stuck up Marvin Gaye's estate. Give me that damn track. Straight plagiarism. And they lost the suit. They had to cut Marvin Gaye's estate a check. So now look, what y'all ass not gonna do, you're gonna be stealing from the dead. What kind of shit is this? So, all right. I didn't get a chance to talk about this story early in the week because, first of all, I just didn't want to see the full video. I saw like still frames. I saw enough. I saw more than I really needed to see. You might have heard the story about a 30-year-old homeless black man in New York City who was like a subway performer. A guy named Jordan Neely. Remember that name, all right? Put some respect on his name, Jordan Neely. So apparently Jordan Neely there was a history from the research that I've done. He had a history of, I guess there was some mental illness concerns. There were displays of some, mental instability. So he was on a New York subway, I believe the F train, and he begins to yelling. He starts yelling and pacing back and forth and saying, I'm hungry, and, I need a beverage, and, I don't care. I don't care about living. I don't care about going to jail. I don't care if I die. Now, Jordan Neely never put his hand on any passenger on this New York subway train. He never personally threatened, and there's video to prove it. I mean, video's been released. They had one guy on the subway who videotaped a lot of it. And then, New York City, they got cameras. So they know what's going on. So he never physically threatened any individual person. Said, I'm going to kill you. He said, I don't care if I die. But he never personally threatened verbally, physically. He never put his hands on anyone on this train, never attacked anybody. But you had a 24-year-old white ex-Marine that took it upon himself to be Rambo. Now, look, I get it. I can hear folks saying, well, man, Geno, a lot happens on the subway in Chicago. Listen, man, I grew up all my life riding the L, so we call it the L. Subway, but for the most part, we call it the L, which was elevated because the trains in Chicago, they spend more time in the air, elevated, than they do in the subway. But the subway is all part of one thing. But I went to New York. I've been to New York twice. Both times I've rode the subway, so I get it. So you don't have to tell me about, oh, well, man, the subway can be dangerous. But I can't tell you how many times people, just look like they were just having some kind of crisis, yelling, screaming, just yelling and screaming, maybe cussing, having a mental episode. But I've seen people that did that never physically threatened anyone else, put their hands on anyone. They were more of a threat to themselves. And apparently this guy, it's clear that he didn't physically threaten anyone. He never verbally threatened any one individual. He just threatened himself. But this 24-year-old ex-Marine, white ex-Marine, 24, young kid, and didn't spend that much time in the Marines because you can't join the Marines, you can't join the military in America, in the United States, until you're 18. So that's, 6 years? I digress. So this ex-Marine, this young Marine, he walks up behind Jordan Neely, puts him what they call a rear chokehold, and he holds him. He maintains this chokehold for 15 minutes. Why does that sound familiar? Who else got choked out? It wasn't 15 minutes, it was 9 minutes and roughly 30 seconds. 9 minutes and 29, 28 seconds. George Floyd, by a police officer, former police officer, and a murderer, Derek Chauvin. So now you had a dude to deputize himself. Maybe he thought because he used to be in the Marines that somehow that he needed to be Rambo and Captain Save the Public. But you got to be careful with that. And you got to be responsible. You got to have a level of maturity, emotional intelligence, discipline, discernment. And apparently this 24-year-old ex-Marine had none of that. And the fact that you kept him in this rear chokehold for 15 minutes means that he was dead in your arms. I don't know, if you had him in a chokehold for 15 minutes, it doesn't take that long to kill somebody in a chokehold. I've heard experts say that you could almost kill somebody instantly, really. So without air, without oxygen getting to your brain, you might survive 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5. So this man was dead in your arms somewhere between, if I'm generous, 7 to 10 minutes, you maintained a chokehold and you couldn't feel this man's body limp. Just go limp. But you maintained a chokehold. And there were 2 other men that was holding, I just saw 2 other men, they were like holding Jordan Neely's arms and putting them to the side and holding them down. Now, this 24-year-old ex-Marine, white ex-Marine, hadn't even been charged. Now you're saying, well, Geno, what has race got to do with it? And why you always got to bring race up? Because why is race always an element? And this is why. Here, I'm going to ask you a question for those who are watching me right now saying that. If Jordan Neely was a 30-year-old homeless black man with a history and displaying some type of mental distress, mental breakdown, who was only threatening himself, who was yelling and screaming and pacing back and forth and saying, I'm hungry, I need a beverage, I don't care about going to jail, I don't care about dying, but never threatened anyone on the train. Jordan never threatened anybody. So Jordan Neely was a 30-year-old white ex-Marine. And a 24-year-old black man came up behind Jordan Neely, the white Jordan Neely, just hypothetical here, put him in a chokehold for 15 minutes, killed him. With witnesses all on the train What do you think that 30-year-old or that 24-year-old black ex-Marine would be in jail? You know it, and I know it, and anybody that's going to be honest knows it. There's no way that a 24-year-old black ex-Marine could kill a 30-year-old white man or woman displaying some type of mental distress, that was homeless, who hadn't physically threatened anyone or verbally threatened anyone on a train, and walked up behind him and put him in a chokehold. You know that black man was still, that 24-year-old black man would still be in jail. Right now, probably wouldn't have given him any bail. So once again, this just goes on. So we got to get justice for Jordan Neely. And you got to get people, this whole planet, because I heard an argument, and listen, one of my first cousins, you've seen him, he's been a guest on the show. He is a retired Marine, nearly 30 years. He was a master sergeant in the Marines. You've seen him on the show. Retired Master Sergeant Roy Gray. Yes. Roy Gray's been a guest probably 4 or 5 times. And I've had other members in the military. As a matter of fact, I got on the Maris's side, got another cousin that's a retired Marine. And other family members that were in the military. So I've heard the argument, well, you know, this ex-Marine, a lot of times they come back, they're dealing with PTS, and they're dealing with mental health issues, and they can't get treatment. And that is true. And that is a crime that this country, that we, because elected officials represent us and we send them to Washington, that this country that sends young men and young women overseas to die, when they come back home, that they can't get the proper mental treatment that they need, that's a crime. But one crime does not give you a pass for you to go and commit another crime. I have absolute compassion. And I would make the argument that this 24-year-old ex-Marine, who's a kid, really, kid probably full of, he's an ex-Marine, and full of testosterone, or he himself, he could very easily be dealing with a lot of unresolved mental trauma and need professional help. And come back an angry young man. He was only in the Marines for 6 years. Who knows? Maybe his discharge or whatever, it wasn't the best. Maybe he's angry about the way he was treated in the Marine. We don't know what is going on. Some unresolved anger. But I can extend compassion. Compassion doesn't exist in a world where accountability doesn't exist. I can have compassion for you, but at the end of the day, you still have to be held accountable. We all have to be held accountable for our actions and behaviors. So with all the compassion that I can extend to this 24-year-old white ex-Marine, his ass still got to be held accountable, because he didn't display any compassion for this 30-year-old black man. And he didn't try to talk to him and say, hey, man, what's wrong? You said you're hungry and that you need a beverage. Hey, can we get this guy a couple dollars? Does anybody have a bottle of water? Does anybody have a sandwich or anything? Anybody, you got Chick-fil-A or whatever? Whatever. Does anybody have any food where they can share, give them maybe a piece? A half of a sandwich or whatever. So this Marine didn't show any compassion. None. just assume that this guy was going to, you just knew that he was going to hurt somebody, even though he never said he was going to hurt anybody, and he never approached anybody. So you felt you had to ride in like the cavalry, and then you killed him. You the Marines, they trained you how to use a chokehold, and I guarantee you that your drill sergeant did not teach you to put anybody in a chokehold, a rear chokehold, for 15 minutes. I guarantee you that. Without spending a minute in the military. But like I said, I got military family, my immediate family. A 30-year veteran, master sergeant, I guarantee you, which I almost started to do, but if I brought him on today or tomorrow, he would tell you that nowhere do they teach. Because first of all, if it's a threat, they teach you how to put somebody in a rear chokehold and basically to eliminate the threat, which means to kill them quickly. They don't teach you, it's going to take, you got to put this person in a rear chokehold for 15 minutes. So this, from what I'm seeing, is intentional. Think about it. Think about you're behind somebody and you've got them in a chokehold for 15 minutes. And then if you feel that they're not moving, you feel their body go limp, and for another 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, you keep them in this chokehold. Oh, there's something wrong with you, partner. Your mental illness is probably worse than the man that you killed. So I have full compassion. If this was not motivated by hate, hopped up with some kind of racist hatred, anger, feeling that black people and Jews are trying to replace me. If you weren't on that bullshit, and it was just strictly that you having some mental issues, which I don't believe that none of that I don't believe that his actions was completely devoid of any racial animus. I just don't. Because I don't think, if that would have been a white person, a white man, I don't think he'd have kept them in that chokehold for 15 minutes. I just don't. I don't. Do I know that for a fact? No. But I don't believe it because the climate that we're living in today, which is so unfortunate. So we got to get justice, and shout out to New York City's mayor, a black man, former police chief. All right. So mayor, handle that. The police chief, a black woman. We know you got a black DA because Orange Hitler's mad at him. So we got to see justice for Jordan Neely. I'm sorry. You can say that, well, you were trying to protect the passengers. And you believed that this man was an imminent threat. But you had no evidence because he never verbally or physically attacked or said that he was going to attack, harm, or kill anyone on that train but himself. Justice for Jordan Neely. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, you, and you, and you, and especially you. I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. Let's go Lakers! Game 2 tonight, 10 o'clock in San Francisco. The Warriors, the Dubs. Well, let's give them a W loss. Let's give them a dub in the loss column, Lakers. Let's handle that business. And shout out to everybody in the chat room. Got a great conversation. Shout out to my man Groove Master Dre, my #1 fan, executive producer, head of publicity and PR. My Mother Mary Dixon. Thank you for the conversation, everybody. All right, please subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. You and everybody else that you know, folks that you like, that you love, folks you're not that crazy about, folks you can't stand, folks you hate, strangers, aliens from outer space. Tell everybody or everybody to subscribe. Screen grab some of this monologue. Screen grab some of any monologue. Put it up on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on Facebook, right here on YouTube. Put it on your page, your YouTube page, YouTube channel. All right. A shout out to Mr. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. He is the CEO of Designer Cuts here in the Charleston, South Carolina metro, Goose Creek, South Carolina. Check him out on Instagram, Kel B Cutting Up, KELBECUTTINUP. Allie Jones, the official wardrobe consultant and stylist for the Geno Jones Show. Check Allie Jones out on Instagram and check out her collection, her drip. Fashion designer, fashion design major, Columbia College Chicago, my alma mater, and a supermodel. Allie Jones on Instagram, LX.NCL underscore, that little dash below. LX.N like Nanette, C like Charlie, L like Lexi underscore. And also shout out to Bruce Gage, he's also one of the official wardrobe consultants and stylists along with Allie Jones right here on the Geno Jones Show. Check him out on Instagram. It's Miglio Di Mario Uomo, MIGLIODIMARIOUOMO. That's Miglio Di Mario Uomo, MIGLIODIMARIOUOMO. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern live. Until then, once again, thank you for watching. Go back and binge watch all this week's episodes. They all have been fire. Thank you to everybody for the conversation in the chat room. As always, along with the fact that I love you so much, each and every one of you, be blessed. Pray for peace. Once again, thanks for watching. We'll see you live Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of The Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.